Right, now let's go to the content. Hi, this is Mr. Urrego, and today we're going to graph inequalities. Right now I have two inequalities, therefore that's called a system of inequalities. All right. Now, the way we graph inequalities is the following. The first thing we have to do is take one at a time, all right, and graph the line. We graph the line. So I normally like to replace that inequality symbol by an equal sign and graph the line either in slope-intercept form or x-y-intercept, okay? Or using the table values, whatever you feel like it, whatever you like. You need to know how to graph in one way. If you know all of them, even better. So the first thing is that I want to graph each one of them. So I'm going to take the first one, and I want to bring, just separate that, and I want to bring, and I'm going to turn that into an equal sign, x plus 8. Why? Because it's easier to identify. All right. Now, y equals x plus 8. I know that this is a slope-intercept form, and your slope is equal to 1, and your y-intercept is equal to 8. Okay. Your slope, you know that is rise over run, so 1 over 1, and we're ready to graph. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is let's separate over here. All right, and let's bring the graph. Let's make the graph over here on this side. Okay. Okay, I think this is a space good enough to do the board for the second one. Okay, so now I see the y-intercept is equal to 8, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My y-intercept, this is x and this is y. All right, y-intercept is equal to 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's your 8. Okay, when you graph in slope-intercept form, that's what you do. First step. Y-intercept. Then I take my slope, rise over run. Okay, rise over run. I should do this longer. Okay, let's pretend that this is number 9. So rise over run means I go up 1, and then I go up 1, and then I go 1 to the right, and right there is the second point. So I start the y-intercept, rise up, run 1 to the right, and now I have 2 points. Now I need to draw my line. Okay, I'm going to connect those 2 points and draw my line. Now I don't have an inequality symbol right now, so I'm going to go back to my original one, and I see that I have a less than or equal to. So every time I have a less than or equal to, less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to, this is going to be a solid line. If I don't have the equal, if I only have less than or greater than, it's going to be a dash line. All right, so that's one of the things that we need to be careful when we graph inequalities. The first one has an equal underneath, so this is going to be a solid line. So let's draw a solid line. All right, not too bad today. Okay, we're going to see if we need to extend that more or not. The next thing we have to do is we need to shade. We need to shade on either side of the line, either above or below the line. How do we know that? Okay, we need to go back, and there's 2 ways how to do it. The first way is when the y is by itself, and I have y less than means I need to shade below the line. Less than, below the line. If it was the other way, greater, it will be above the line. So because I have y less than that, then in this case, my shade is going to be below the line. So I'm going to go really tiny, and I know that my shade is going to be, I went tiny, it's all this underneath. Okay, I don't want to do too much because I don't want to interfere with the second graph. And we're done with the first one. All right, shade underneath. And you see I have a pattern. Let's do the second one. For the second one, I have, I'm going to make a line over here. I'm going to have 3x plus y is less than negative 8. And I said that I was going to turn that into an equation so I can graph that. Okay, so let me turn that into an equal sign just to graph. Right now that equation is not in slope-intercept form, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my x-intercept and I'm going to find my y-intercept. This equation is a standard form. The x and the y are on one side. Okay, if I'm looking for the x-intercept, I make my y equals to 0. If I'm looking for my y-intercept, you make the x equals to 0. And that's the whole thing. So I'm going to rewrite this thing, 3x plus y equals negative 8. And I want the y equals to 0. So this y is going to turn into 0. Therefore, 3x equals negative 8. Okay? Divided by 3, x equals negative 8 over 3, which is, as a decimal, is negative 2.67. Okay? So that's your x-intercept. Not too precise, but we got to do what we got to do. All right, so I have negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. This is negative 3, this is negative 2. Negative 2.67 is closer to the 3. So here we go. That's my y-intercept. I'm sorry, my x-intercept. Okay? I follow the same process doing the y-intercept. So I rewrite my equation, 3x plus y equals negative 8. I'm looking for the y-intercept. I make the x 0. Whatever has the x turns into 0. Therefore, I have y equals negative 8. Not too bad. Okay? So here we go. Negative 8. So I got to go negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's negative 8. And that's where my y-intercept is. Y-intercept on the y-axis, x-intercept on the x-axis. You have your 2 points. I'm ready to draw my line. What do I need to do? I need to know if it's going to be a solid line, or a dashed line. So we got to go back to the original inequality. We don't have an equal underneath. We don't have an equal underneath. We only have less than, therefore, is a dashed line. So what's going to happen is, that's going to be a tough one. Okay, let's see. All right, that's going to be my line. Oh my God, that's going to be a tough one. Ooh, not too good. All right, but you get the point. All right, it's dash or dotted. All right, the main idea is that it can be solid. It cannot be a solid line. All right, so I have a dashed line. Remember, I need to do a shade. Okay, so how do I know if where my shade is going to be? If the y is by itself, then less than is below, greater is above. But in this case, the y is not by itself. So another way how to do it is by checking a point. I'm going to check a point on the inequality. The line is, this is my line. My line is not going through 0, 0. I can check any point from the graph. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug those coordinates into the original inequality. And if it satisfies the inequality as a true statement, then that's where my shade is going to be. I'm saying I'm going to check 0, 0. Check 0, 0 because it's the easiest point to check. Why? If I check x as 0 and y as 0, that means this is going to cancel out and this is going to cancel out. So I'm going to have 0 is less than negative 8. You see how it cancels all the variables? Now I need to find out if that's true or false. Is 0 less than negative 8? No, it's false. That's a false statement. So let's go back to my graph. This is my line. This came out to be false. So my shade is not going to be on this side above the line. It's going to be on the other side, which most likely it will be a true statement. So my shade, it will be from this side of the line. Okay? In our case, we should extend the line and extend. Now we can do a bigger shade. Now let's do a bigger shade. Okay, bigger shade. And let's see where the two shades will intersect. Where do you think they intersect in? Nothing here on the top. Nothing, well, only one shade. Only one shade here on the left side, right? Only one shade. Only one shade here, but here in this corner, you have the two shades. So where the two shades intersect, that's where the solution of the system is, all right? So in my case, I notice where the intersection of the two shades are, so I'm gonna make sure that my teacher will understand that that's where the answer is. All right, make sure you're clear, make sure you make that darker or a different pattern, okay? So again, inequalities, you draw your line, you decide if it's solid or dash, you shade one side according to the rules that we specify already. The second one, on the same corner plane, decide if it's dash or solid. You shade the side, checking the point, which we did at 0, 0. And where the two shades intersect, that's your final answer. And there's nothing else to do. That's your final answer for a system of inequalities. Okay? Thank you for watching.